On this episode of the People of Pearland podcast.
McDonald's fries are unmatched. As a fast food chain.
So
don't even say Arby's. Don't even bring Arby's into
First of all, who's keeping Arby's in business?
This guy is keeping Arby's in business.
Classic beef and cheddar with horsey. Man, you know what? Forget it. Stay tuned for more. I was born ready.
Oh, gosh. All right. You're good.
This is how we start every podcast, with just a dumb soundbite.
Yes. Yep.
Usually I have some sort of song that I try to start, and it never works. Last episode I edited was Next Episode by Dr. Dre.
Ooh.
Yeah. La da 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 da. No?
Nope.
Huh? That's a great... Like, that whole album was just...
I've got a question already. But
fire away. Wait, introduce him first.
Hey,
and then we can fire away.
All right, let's start this thing. All right. Welcome, everybody, to... This is how it happened.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's try that again.
All right.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode.
Hello.
That wasn't a prompt for you to say. You didn't have to.
Okay.
That's where
Never
that
mind.
song came from, you know.
Oh, gotcha.
The Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of the People of Pearland podcast. We have with us today the one and only,
Wow.
the famous,
No.
the noteworthy,
Yep.
the face of Pearland Parks and Recreation,
Ooh,
Mychal Mychal. Mychal Mychal.
Yep. He is here with us.
I can't believe we got you here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, all the scheduling with your agents and all the your people talking to our people.
Yeah, you know, we had to work that thing out. I really needed some green Skittles. So shout out Brittany.
Our producer in the corner.
That's right.
Taking pictures of us.
1 of 7 times that I'm going to shout out Brittany.
Okay.
7.
6 to go.
Who's
All
keeping track?
I will.
Brittany will keep track. That's one of her jobs.
There it is.
Welcome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us. We literally gave you no idea what you were doing here.
Correct.
As we do with everybody who comes on this show. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Correct.
We like catching people by surprise.
I feel like I'm on an episode of Hot Ones. But don't get any ideas.
Well, we
should've.
did a thing like that. We tried one of those out, and it was a terrible idea.
Like, people didn't go to work the next day.
One person,
Yeah.
and it was his own fault. I think we had him sign a waiver.
Okay. All right.
He survived.
Smart.
He
Yeah.
survived.
Hey, that's all that
Um,
matters.
But yeah, we tried some hot sauces, and they were pretty bad.
It was rough.
All for information in the city of Pearland.
That's right.
Hey, I'm for it. I'm for it.
So we did this podcast, though, obviously without hot sauce, so that we could introduce residents and employees, like everybody that wants to listen, to the people of Pearland,
Oh,
the Mychal Mychals,
Yep.
that make Pearland special.
wow.
The people who work here, that work in the different departments, work for the city government, and make the Pearland community what it is. And you, sir, are a scholar and a gentleman
Not, sometimes.
in the Pearland space and in the value that you bring to this organization. So let's just get right in here. What do you do for the city, Mychal?
I do first of all, thank you for having me.
Hey,
okay. I want to first give all glory and praise to the Lord. Okay. Because without him, I am nothing. Okay.
Amen.
Secondly, thank you for having me.
Yep.
I don't know if that was in the first thing. Or
It
not.
was in the first
It
thing,
was.
but,
Okay,
but that's fine.
yeah,
we
take
can
it.
do it
We'll
twice.
take it.
We can do it twice.
Whatever. All right. So, what I do with the city, literally, is try to be the guy behind the scenes that you don't see. Right.
Like Houdini.
So for
I guess people saw Houdini. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that didn't
Singing ventriloquist.
didn't he die?
Yeah.
Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
he did.
He got punched in the stomach by a strongman.
Rip.
Right? Isn't that how he died?
Hey, let him answer the question, man.
Well, we're getting into trivia now. Now I got to look it up.
Look it up. Brittany, look it up, please.
Number 2.
All right. So yeah, I try to be the guy behind the scenes. I was, as you guys know, but maybe you don't know.
Right.
I was in special event coordinator for my first 5 years being here with the city.
What does that mean? What does a special events coordinator do?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Great question. So special event coordinator just literally coordinates the events within the city. So whether that is assisting with some of the outstanding events that you see from Parks and Recreation, whether or not it's Celebration of Freedom, the parade, Trick or Treat Trail, some of those events, or whether or not it's a groundbreaking, helping out with those types of things. Of course, getting the wonderful assistance from you guys and some of the other leaders around the city, but just trying to make sure that things from an operational standpoint function correctly for events.
Yeah.
I'm currently now the operations manager at the recreation center. So still trying to be the guy behind the scenes if there are things that need to be fixed or things that go awry. Then I'm the one who helps to kind of coordinate whether or not that is fixing the issue or whether or not that's reaching out to a contractor to get them coming out to fix that issue. Yeah. So being the guy behind the scenes, this is the guy that you don't see. That's me.
It's an important job.
It is.
Go ahead.
I got to pause real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Trivia.
Houdini. Here we go.
Okay, so this is from the History Channel. So Houdini had been talking to a group of students after a lecture in Montreal when he commented on the strength of his stomach muscles and their ability to withstand hard blows. Suddenly, this is terrible. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. I can see myself doing this. We're going to have to edit all this up.
That's all good.
Suddenly, one of the students punched Houdini twice in the stomach. The magician hadn't had time to prepare, and the blows ruptured his appendix.
All right, so are you editing this out? Are you taking this out?
I don't know. We'll think about it.
Here's the thing. I think that's pretty messed up of the student. All right, the student should be charged with murder.
Yeah, and like,
how are you going to say me twice?
Right. He said my stomach muscles are really strong, and so this kid just punches him.
But he set him up for it.
He did set him up for one punch. Okay,
not two.
And what's with a second punch? Like, how are you gonna? Are you trying to prove how fast you can punch?
Yeah. Nobody's ready. Come on, man.
Oh man.
And I have so many more questions about that now. Because I mean, I have strong stomach muscles.
Didn't Bruce Lee wasn't he shot or something like that by his kid?
No.
What did happen?
It was a blank. No. Or Bruce Lee's son.
He was shot on set.
That's right.
It
was a firearm malfunction, firearm accident.
Brittany, did you know that?
2. That's twice.
That's 3.
That's 3.
Thrice.
Yeah,
thrice.
Number 2. Anyways,
back to it. Okay, so the man behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's me. I like to stay behind the scenes.
Why is that?
Hey,
are you
great segue.
Yeah.
I'm a natural introvert.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Would have never guessed that.
Yes. You're an introvert that identifies as an extrovert, right?
From what I've heard, you can be an extrovert amongst your friends.
Yep.
It's just
I feel the same way.
In a public setting.
Me too, totally.
No, you're not. You can
I prefer to kind of, peep the scene on a gangsta lean first. Before fully giving everybody the crazy,
Yep.
I need to make sure that y'all are somewhat crazy so y'all can look at me as somewhat normal.
I honestly, I can relate to that because I intentionally, like my physical gestures, movements and things like that, I intentionally slow them down by about like 20% or so, because if I went at full speed, I'm really awkward it makes people uncomfortable.
But I feel like around the team, I'm a crazy person. And then when I go out, I'm like, how do I tone that? How do I bring that? And then I always walk away from a situation and I think, man, I wish I was normal. Or
yeah.
I think everybody wishes that.
Yeah. Right.
Not about you. I mean, about themselves.
No, about me. Yeah. I leave and Josh is like, man, that was weird.
Yeah. I'm I'm that way. I mean, and I guess it comes across to people as
quiet.
like, yeah, why are you being weird in that situation? I'm not being weird.
Yep.
I'm being what I'm comfortable with. But yeah, natural introvert. So plus it's kind of in my nature. I'm one who and again, you know, I like doing this podcast. The way my mind works, it's like a big rabbit hole. Shout out to my podcast called The Rabbit Hole.
You can't,
but
do that. I'm just kidding. Go subscribe now.
Yeah, please, everywhere. It's streaming everywhere. I typically will connect. In my head, I heard, and this wasn't me, and I can't quote the video or the person or anything like that. So this could be a big copyright infringement. But I saw a video once of a gentleman describing the way guys' minds are and the way women's mind is.
Can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah.
He described it as an attic, where inside a guy's mind, an addict. Sorry, like at the top of your house.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Yep. Sorry. Good clarification there.
Yep. All about clarity here.
Right. So what he says is, guys, you know, we have individual boxes that are not touching each other. They're just labeled a specific thing. And when we want to talk about sports, we go in the sports box.
Right. Yep. Dig out all the stuff.
We dig out all the stuff.
Sure,
and then once we're done, we put it back in the sports box, close it up.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about something else. We open that box.
Yep.
Do that. He said that women's mental addict.
Short. No, you got it right.
Addict. Sorry.
Yep, there it is.
There you go.
Is a lot of boxes that are all connected.
I believe that.
Right? So one thing relates to another.
Also, he talks with his hands.
Yeah,
I do.
Just keep seeing the
So I think my mind is much like that, where it's a lot of boxes that are connected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why the rabbit hole streaming everywhere.
Sure.
I will go down a path that to me I've connected.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if it's I mean, I can see how people would try to say, like, categorize, you know, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, you know, that. But I feel like I think that way too, because my thoughts are very sporadic.
Oh yeah.
And for me, and I think this is a thing that people have to get used to, is like most of them will be internal, and then something random will come out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder why cats don't wear pants.
Right. Yeah. Winnie the Pooh.
What?
Winnie the Pooh.
Like,
you know, just walks around with a shirt.
That's right. Yeah.
How did we get
wrong?
to that?
Yeah.
You know, and there were a half a dozen other thoughts before that led to that point that make sense to me.
Right, exactly.
But I didn't bother to share them with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So that is fascinating.
Yeah.
You should come work with us. We
I mean, our team meetings just turned into
they're
big rabbit holes.
But you know what? I mean,
but that's where the ideas
the
are.
creativity.
I feel like
right?
that's where
and I try to bring them all back.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
speaking of bringing it back, do you know podcast, right?
Okay.
The origin, why it's called a podcast?
I don't.
Would you like to know?
Yeah,
sure.
Please.
They originally recorded, the term was coined around 2004-ish area.
Okay.
When iPods were like a relatively new thing. You know, it's a broadcast made for an iPod, thus podcast.
Man.
Apple
R.I.P.
rolling
Steve.
everything.
Yeah.
Well, Steve didn't do it. It was some guy in Germany.
Take it back,
like
Steve.
But I mean, he made the iPod, right?
He did.
So,
but that makes, because that would have been the only way to have listened to something like
which
that.
I completely like.
Yep.
I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot.
That's crazy.
I had the Nano.
I can see it.
It weighed as much as 50 cents.
I have my classic on
Actually,
my desk.
Mine's still in my truck. It doesn't work anymore, but it's still in my truck.
Man, those things were meant to last, though. Like they were.
Oh yeah,
they were for real.
Something else.
These kids today.
So I know. My children. Speaking of, I'm getting to that grumpy old man stage. Like young
I can't wait.
whippersnappers.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
But we talked. I've talked with like digital strategy marketing friends about the evolution of technology, and like my kids will, when they were young, would like walk up to the TV and try to swipe it because everything else is touchscreen, right? My kids have never known a phone that they can't watch TV on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which just blows my mind.
Yep.
And I heard recently, I think it was in a TED Talk, something about technology is only innovative if you can remember a time before it existed, which is really
That's heavy.
fascinating.
That's heavy.
Yeah. And so the same guy was actually talking about generations, how they're typically based on time, but really they should be based on technological evolution.
Yep.
Right. Because we're getting to the point, like, I mean, I don't understand TikTok. I can't, I don't get, you know.
I think this millennium generation is a
Dang whippersnappers.
very unique generation.
Yep.
And I'm a part of the millennium generation.
Yeah.
Millennial. Sorry, not 2000. The 99 and the 2000. All right. See.
Yeah.
But I feel like this generation is one of the more unique ones because I do remember that time before technology. I do remember being in college and it's like, oh, we're releasing the iPhone.
Right.
And it's something that is like, man, you can check your email on your phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? That was crazy. Or looking at, Microsoft Word and seeing the save button, but knowing that's a floppy disk. Or hearing somebody say, roll up the window and knowing, I did
with the
roll
little
up
crank.
the window.
Physically, right.
So it's very interesting now to see, stuff and how technology is today and versus how it was when I was little.
Yeah.
And I enjoy both.
Yeah.
I didn't have any reservation or, bad feelings about, doing things. Sometimes I question, like, what did I do? As a kid, but I'm surprised I didn't get in more accidents driving with MapQuest printouts.
Yes.
Yeah. We're trying to change
flipping
out
through your
CDs.
CDs.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, man,
Good
500
times.
CD case. I never did fill that thing out.
No.
Oh man.
Those are some of the best CDs though.
I know. The custom mixes.
LimeWire.
Shout out to LimeWire.
LimeWire.
Yes.
That was an era.
Yeah.
It was a time.
Oh
Man. Good times.
So thinking about that, because it seems like you deal with a wide range of demographic, specifically at the rec center, but in parks generally speaking. We talk about, definitely from a city perspective, how we engage with our audiences or residences, things like that. I would argue you probably see the broadest cross section of, individual residences or residents. I don't know the plural for residents. Apparently,
I don't either.
No, it's residents, not residences.
Residents.
Sorry, I'm still learning. So that a jump into the future, that what we've seen over the last, how long have you been working in Parks and Rec? Like, or you've been with the city for 5 years?
Coming on 6 years,
6 years
here in March.
And I would imagine even in that period of time, you've seen a change in the department and the offerings and the audience that, connects with those things.
Yeah, definitely.
You were here before Independence Park was renovated completely, right?
I was able to see Independence Park when it was just, one little dirt circular path around the park and all that stuff. And I heard that at one point, and I say I heard because I don't want to be receiving any emails about pools or anything.
No.
I heard that there was a parking lot that was there at one point in time.
I used to be a lifeguard at that pool.
At that parking lot? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
That pool is where I learned how to swim.
I work with a lovely young lady named Lindsay. Shout out Lindsay, who she tells me all the time that she grew up with that pool, learning how to swim, all that stuff. So I know it's gone through a change, but the entire city and our demographics have done the same.
Well, and it is fascinating, speaking of the pool specifically, because that is a sensitive subject. So might as well talk about it.
Let's do it.
That's
let's
what
do
this
it.
is for.
So
don't cancel me.
When they did the park renovation, I don't know how close you were to it, but there was a lot of feedback, a lot of strong feelings about the pool and not having the pool in the future renovations. The parks director at the time showed me all the data from the last time the pool was open, and the cost to renovate the pool. And so the annual maintenance cost for the pool were like don't quote me on the exact numbers. It was like $160,000 or $180,000, something like that. And the last time it was open, the entire summer, the whole summer, it made like $3,000.
Yeah.
And so you have a situation where you have, a budget line item that, is being funded by taxpayer dollars. So all the taxpayers are paying for it. And then a very, very, very small portion of the population was actually using it.
Right.
People get nostalgic, which is why, they had feelings about it.
Right.
And then that doesn't include the repair costs that it needed, which totaled about $600,000.
Right.
And so when you look at just the hard numbers, and on top of that, we have the natatorium that's indoor and new and nice and, very purpose built. And that was one of the things that I noticed at the time, is that the structure of parks looking well into the future is being very intentional about space.
Right.
Right. The difference between what Independence Park was and what it is now, night and day.
Yep.
I think that it's hard for people it can be hard for people to see that.
Oh yeah.
Until they see it in action, and then they go, oh,
right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, just look at what we're able to do with the park during Christmas now, and that kind of stuff. Like, we would have never been able to do that before that time, and the way it was structured. And so,
yeah, that's kind of what I was going to touch on as well. Like, when certain changes like that take place, just as y'all are trying to highlight right now, like, all of us in Parks and Rec are people as well,
right? And
we have that emotional or nostalgic tie to a lot of these things as well. So it's definitely something that, we may have certain feelings and perspectives on, but we carry those perspectives and feelings toward other programs that we continue to try to offer, or other services that we continue to try to offer. So although something may be evolving and it may evoke a certain type of change or emotion that may be positive or negative, we're still trying to give everybody that same good feeling and create a new kind of nostalgia for the community. So, we're definitely keeping that perspective in mind of all of this. And in some ways we're acting on emotion, and we're acting with our emotions and everything, but we're trying to be very intentional with our services and our programs that we provide and offer to the community. That way we are still giving everybody kind of a nice feeling of home and connectedness.
Well, and I mean, every department here has their own mission that sort of falls within what we're trying to do as an organization.
Right.
And what the service that you all provide in the Parks Department is no small feat, especially because of geographically how our community is shaped, demographically and psychographically how they're shaped. I mean, how do you build something that reaches deep into the community, right, and has a significant impact? And I think that the programming, down from the little mommy and me times up to Celebration of Freedom, they do that.
Yep.
And I think that we see the results of that, especially when we do surveys and we say, hey, how do you feel about lifestyle features, benefits, trails, parks, so forth and so on?
Right.
We get good marks for those types of things. But you're continually chasing that evolution, right? It's a continual process to move that forward,
right?
Like with the rec center, right? Developing your programming there, and showing people the value of memberships and all things that come along with that.
That's it.
So for you, transitioning from special events to rec center, what do you think the biggest difference is? I mean,
I would say, there are a lot of similarities.
Still parks.
Yeah. Boom. That's the only, no. There are a lot of similarities in the sense of, come day of the event, when I was in special events, a lot of the hard work had already been done prior to
right.
leading up to everything. So the day of was more about where are we trying to improve our experience or where are we trying to limit the fires that takes place.
Right.
Being in this role at the rec center, every day is event day. So every day is that mindset. How can we improve an experience and how can we limit down the amount of fires that we have in this? Some of those fires can be magnetized, I guess, depending on the perspective of the person. So whether or not it's, hey, you know what? It's too cold in here. Hey, it's too warm in here. Or, hey, you know what? I came into the weight room knowing it's Monday, it's leg day. I'm going to get on this squat rack and I'm going to do it. Man, the squat rack is out of order.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
Yep.
I've focused all my energy on this. Now I don't know what to do.
Right.
Now my week is messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that happens to me every Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I had to kind of change the way I worked out to say, I'm just going to do leg day. I'm not going to do squats. I might do squats,
Right.
but I'm going to focus more so on the holistic thing of it. But anyway, whoa, excuse me.
Easy. I always skip leg day, by the way.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I try to look at each day at the rec center. How can we limit down those fires?
Mm-hmm.
How can we increase the experience for everybody? Those are the similarities of it. I'd say that the differences between the two is, I probably hinted at it before, but everything is more immediate.
Yeah.
You know, every day is a
Right.
day. So.
Yep.
But I think that's the way that you framed it and the way that you think about it.
Excuse me.
You all right there? Need another?
Maybe some water or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Brittany.
Four.
No,
We're not going to make her get water. It's fine.
Kidding.
Michael can suffer.
I'm good.
The humanizing aspect about that, and we talk about this a lot. Like I'm talking about this all the time now, but you're absolutely right. The customer service, especially when it comes to a gym membership or something that's in that framework, changes and it becomes very personal. You know, you have an entire experience to maintain for thousands of members. And when something doesn't go right for one of those members, it's not a big deal to the thousands of members.
Right.
Very big deal to that one person.
Right.
Right. And how do you address those things without losing sight of the big picture?
Big picture. Yeah.
So
Right.
what's your secret? How do you keep your hair on every day?
You know,
I don't know if that's a saying. Is it a saying?
Yeah. heard that one before.
I haven't. I would.
He doesn't wear a wig. I don't know if I should. We don't have a video component here, so I can't.
We don't have the video. No. I would just say it's the help of everybody. You know, it's not just me. It's not just the operations team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have an amazing facilities team that helps out as well. But everybody pitches
Supportive administration.
Yeah, we have everybody that pitches in and contributes in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
Even if it's just offering another perspective to someone, just to say, hey, you know what, these people are working on this, but here's the certain process that we're going through to make sure that things are done fairly, things are done properly.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of pitches in to kind of make sure that experience is delivered. We're just kind of the ones who will receive majority of the praise or majority of the blame.
Right.
So, you know, you don't really take the highs too high and you don't take the lows too low. So,
yeah, I mean, perspective is important. And it seems like, especially it's true everywhere, but consistency is key, right?
For sure. Chick-fil-A.
Right.
Chick-fil-A, McDonald's.
Yeah. You know it every single time.
Hang on. McDonald's fries are unmatched.
Unmatched.
As a fast food chain.
So
don't even say Arby's. Don't even bring Arby's into
First of all, who's keeping Arby's in business?
This guy is keeping Arby's in business.
Classic beef and cheddar with horsey. Man, you know what? Forget it. What I was going to say.
Sorry.
My first university college experience, right? get up there, don't have a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
need to get a job. Took me a couple weeks. This is a college town. All the jobs are taken. So I got a job at a convenience store, which was an experience.
Okay.
It was a tough job.
7-Eleven or
No, it was like a
Mom
locally
and pop.
owned shell,
Yeah.
literally right down the street from my apartment, which is nice. Ended up working way too many hours. I'll tell you some horror stories later on. But I got my first paycheck, and I went to Hastings.
Oh yeah, man, I miss
rented
Hastings.
a video game, and then I went to McDonald's, and I got a quarter pounder with cheese meal.
okay.
And like the taste that like every time I get one now, it transports
Brings
me
you
back
back.
to that.
Yep.
Okay.
And I would agree. McDonald's fries,
Unmatched.
gold standard.
Perfectly
It's-
crispy.
it's not
Every
even-
perfectly
single time.
salted.
It's
That's-
not even
yeah.
a question to
time.
me.
Yep.
Like if somebody ever asks who has the best fries, I'm already thinking of second place.
Right.
Like,
Sure.
and I
Sure.
might throw Chick-fil-A in there. I don't know if we want to categorize waffle fries as like
Oh,
the same.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
That's
if
like
anybody works at Freddy's, I'm sorry. Y'all fries.
we
You're
don't
not a fan?
We don't discriminate against any fries. Did you do your disclaimer at the beginning?
I'm sorry.
The thoughts and ideas
They
on this
represent me.
podcast
Yeah, that's
represent
right. Yeah.
the individuals, not the organization.
All right. I love Freddy's.
Covered.
I love Freddy's
Now,
caramel shake though.
but if you could take
Their custards.
a
great.
beef and cheddar with horsey sauce
gosh,
and Arby's
no.
sauce and put some McDonald's fries on the side. That's why I like going to the airport, because you can totally do that.
When I was
No
in high
problem.
school, I would do like a master mix of like different places.
It's like burning your own CD, but with fast food.
That is
Yeah,
with food,
exactly.
yeah.
So I would get like 2 tacos from Jack in the Box. You go get a apple turnover from Arby's or something. Get some fries from McDonald's. Like, and I would
For
just
real?
bring yes, and a Sonic
who
drink.
has time to drive around?
Yeah,
I
what
get-
kind of lunch
look,
break did you?
This you're talking about a young child who just got their driver's license or permit,
yeah.
and the mom is like,
That's right.
"Hey, go get your food. You're hungry. Go get something." Okay, cool. Where can I go during this 20 minutes that I have the
Everywhere.
car?
I could go
I'm going
everywhere.
everywhere.
Okay, so you were one of those, like, as soon as you got your license, like, I want to go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember several times being after church on Sundays. My mom is like, "We're going to Luby's," and I'm like, "I can't wait
Yeah. She
to
gonna let
have
you go?
my car
Yeah.
and just leave." You know?
I got my driver's license, right? I drove home from the DMV with my dad, dropped him off, picked up Kenny, my best friend, and first place right over here, and we drove to Alameda Mall.
Yeah.
Like, I went straight for the
where
freeway.
that's where you should go.
Mhm.
It was a terrible, like,
Right down 45.
But I
and
did
then-
it.
Yep.
and I survived.
Man,
Yeah.
that was
There
the spot back then.
That was
Sorry, I
it.
could talk about that. All
Sorry.
day. Yeah.
And
Sorry, I'm telling you.
Kenny bought the stupidest, like, blueberry blue hat. And then we had to go back and return it because I finally talked him out of it. Anyways,
There you go.
I
But yeah, the
met,
experience.
I
yeah.
met a lot of people that nowadays, especially the kids, like, they don't want to drive. They don't,
That's crazy.
don't want to get their driver's
I was ready.
license.
No, I was ready.
I was ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was ready before I had my driver's license.
Yeah. I could take you back through that whole driving school.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. I was definitely one who was ready. I don't think that I went out a lot. It's just having the freedom of
Yeah.
I could leave if I want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still, to this day, struggle if, like, I'm somewhere and I don't have my own vehicle.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a
Feels wrong.
yeah, because I want an escape.
Yep.
Mhm.
The knowledge, like the satisfaction of I can go whenever I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a wife and kids. I can't just go wherever.
Man,
Responsibility.
It changes things.
it
So,
does.
did you grow up here in Houston, or
I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas.
Wow. Okay.
Go Spurs, go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
Brittany.
5.
That's
five.
it.
That's 5. Yeah. There you go.
I got 5.
So I've seen you. You're super detail oriented. I've sat in meetings where you're doing the whole special events.
Doing the spiel.
Yeah, the spiel. What did you do before you came to Pearland? I'm
Yeah.
curious what the background is there.
Yeah, so I started working. First job ever was at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Yes,
I
the right
Right
was,
stuff,
the right
low
pri-
price.
That's
Oh,
it.
No, great.
Right.
That used to be.
Right stuff, low price.
I can't remember.
Right stuff, the right price.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I want to say it started as the right stuff, the low price, and then they changed it
Right
to the
stuff,
right
the
stuff,
right
the right
price.
price.
Academy.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Um,
Did it?
Ooh.
did you that harmony? Ooh. Yeah, so I started at Academy 2007. I was at Store 46. Shout out to Store 46.
Where is that?
This is in San Antonio, on I-35. They've got great people. Won't do the accent. But it was an amazing time. At that point in time, the San Antonio Spurs were in the championship against LeBron James. So like my first or second week, it's finals week, NBA finals week. We end up sweeping the Cavaliers. So we, of course, have to come in and reopen the store, sell the merch, all that stuff. So it was a cool experience then. But I spent most of my time there. Ended up getting an internship with Academy, and that's kind of what brought me over to Houston.
Oh, because they're headquartered there.
Over in Katy on Mason Road. And once I separated from them, I started working with the Houston Rockets as a marketing associate. That was an amazing experience, just kind of opening up my eyes to marketing and events and things like that.
You like doing street team stuff, or?
Yeah, so the marketing associates, they really have a hand in everything that goes on with the Rockets. So whether or not it is corporate events, or whether or not it's participating in media day, or player autograph signings. And
did you ever get to shoot the t-shirt cannon?
They actually did not allow the t-shirt cannon while I was there. I think there was an incident that took place before with the t-shirt cannon. So
that would be my problem. Like I wouldn't mean to, but I'd like beam somebody square in the chest.
Right. And those things pressurized, they come out very strong.
Yeah.
But I have folded thousands of t-shirts, was instrumental in helping to hang t-shirts on every chair during playoff games. I mean, it was a great experience just overall, and gave me a lot of experience in knowing what it took to be very detail oriented with our stuff. I still talk to my managers over there from the Rockets in the marketing department, just because they played such a big influence in my event planning.
Because the stakes are high. I mean,
very high. I mean,
in any professional sport,
you mess up and you could be on ESPN. And we were a couple times. Specifically for some of those promotions. There was one promotion where it wasn't our fault, but we had the contestants, basically you make a layup, you get a Toyota O or an X, and you're playing tic-tac-toe on the middle of the court.
Cool.
Well, both of the contestants had an opportunity to win the tic-tac-toe game, but they were just so, I guess, focused in beating one another that they weren't paying attention to
this video.
The placement of the pieces on the board were. So they could have easily won the game, but they're just like putting pieces wherever they go. It's on YouTube.
I have seen that before.
You can look at it and see
hilarious.
it. But I was a part of that promotion. Thankfully, it wasn't our fault that we were messing up. But from there, I ended up working with the Harris County Houston Sports Authority, which is the local sports commission for Houston and the area, to help bring in a lot of the national sporting events and things like that. Was a part of the SWAC football and basketball championships, AAU Junior Olympic Track and Field Championships, USA Junior Olympic Track and Field Championships. Was able to kind of work closely with the NCAA Final Four. We did several bids to try to get national sporting events here. We did the Lombardi Awards for several of the different athletes that are in the NFL right now, and then was fortunate enough to be on the Super Bowl host committee for Super Bowl 51 and got a chance to go to the game. So all of that took place. And fun fact, that was my first NFL game.
Wow.
The Super Bowl.
Wow.
So
you can never go to another one.
Can't go to another one.
Topped it.
Now I was at the very top, but
still,
I was there. So Yeah,
That's amazing.
that was it, man.
So, I mean, seems like, I mean, your whole career has been in some way, shape, or form dedicated to athletics, fitness, lifestyle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Interesting.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Is your education in sports marketing, or is it?
It's actually in public relations.
Good to know.
Yeah. I so wanted to be the next Stuart Scott.
Sure.
I wanted to, I liked everything about the way Stuart Scott just had his own personality.
Yeah.
I love talking about sports. I got to a point where, you know, I ran track in high school and I played football in high school. Shout out to Converse Judson. We're kind of a big deal. But I ran track at UTSA, and it got to a point where I was like, okay, you know what? I'm at the point where I know that I'm a good athlete, but I'm not good enough to continue pursuing it. So I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, going to UTSA, I'm sure that they have this now, but at the time where I was there was no real like broadcasting kind of career path or degree path. So the closest thing was public relations. They had journalism, but you know, I didn't feel that I was a strong enough writer or had enough passion behind that to get behind that. So I was like, you know what, I can go in public relations and hopefully that can maneuver me into that. And, you know, unique kind of experience path, going to academy, going there and then going to the Rockets kind of led me more toward the event side of things. So I don't regret it at all.
Sure.
I've seen and been a part of some very amazing events. You know, so it's interesting how the story is being written. Yeah. But I'm just enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
So
I mean, each one of those things is, you know, it's a carving of clay, you know, it's a step in the right direction. I actually used that in one of my first job interviews, and the lady looked at me like a cow staring at a new gate. Because I described myself as like, you know, a piece of metal that was being forged into each experience. You never heard that phrase?
No.
He's just throwing out these phrases. He's just making these on the fly. That's
Look it up. It's
my
real.
coach used to say the weirdest stuff. Like we would be running and hey, grandma's slow, but she's old. What? Nobody walks but the mailman. He doesn't though. Like,
oh man,
I don't know if that was one of those, but it. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure that's isn't it? Have you ever heard that, Brittany? Brittany's never heard that.
Six.
What'd you say?
More.
7? Yeah,
one more.
Cast turn in the gate. I'm gonna have to.
You gotta coin. You gotta put these on your wall.
Well, no,
or something.
I didn't coin it. I mean, it's you know. They see a new gate and they don't know what to do. And they just look at it sideways.
Okay.
And that's what this lady did in the job interview, because I was being all philosophical.
Right.
I'm like a piece of metal that a sculptor is in every experience. And she's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, nice.
Fun fact: I didn't get the job.
Okay.
That's why he's here now.
Hey, boom! There you go.
But similarly, without all the athleticism, I went to school originally for journalism, and was like, I don't want to be. I thought I wanted to be a journalist and a news anchor, and turns out that I didn't. I wanted to do more of the marketing, you know, more of the talky talk, less of the righty write. And I mean, all those things, same deal. My experiences varied at best. I envy the people that, you know, from the time they're 6 are like, I'm going to be an engineer when I grow up.
Right.
Because I mean, my experience has been all
it
over
took me
the
a
place.
while to kind of find that.
You get where you're supposed to be for a reason, right?
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't be here if you weren't supposed to be.
That's it.
It's weird how that all just kind of works out.
Yeah.
Like I knew I liked to have a camera with me, but I didn't never think that would lead to something, right? You know, so it's just crazy how the trajectory happens, you know?
So outside of work, Mychal, what's he do? You family man, obviously you're into fitness. I'm sure you run to and from work.
No, you know, running track at UTSA actually made me understand and realize how much I hated running. So I am not a
That's
runner.
one thing we have in common. I hate it too.
Yeah. I'm not a runner. I do like to work out, and try to just kind of keep myself in somewhat of a decent shape.
Yeah.
But I'm not at all really into the cardio stuff. I do have a rower at home, so I'll do that.
I've always wanted to use one of those.
It's an interesting total body, I guess, kind of workout, and something that is kind of low impact on your joints and stuff. So I'm hoping that it's something that I carry with me long term. When I get into a point where I'm just like, I'm not going to be squatting no more. I'm done with the squats. Hopefully rowing can take that place. But yeah, I have 2 kids, 2 young kids. My oldest is going to be 4 in May. My youngest is going to be 1 in April.
Yeah.
So thankfully, both of them are sleeping through the night.
Lucky. Can't ask for much more than that.
Lucky.
And we just, I think, finally, successfully can say with confidence that the oldest one is potty trained. I think
that's huge.
So it's another man. But yeah, no, I love being with my family. I get inspiration from just random places. I heard one of the rappers that is local to Houston, a guy named Toby. He said that his dad said, you can fake it like you care, but you can't fake it like you're there. So I like to be very, very present in their lives.
Sure.
I like to celebrate them as much as I would want to be celebrated. And I try to keep those hard times, I try to keep in my mind that this is all an experience that they're going through as well.
Right.
Like,
absolutely.
It may be something to me where I'm like, why are you doing this way? Or, man, you should stop playing around. It's time to go to bed. But this is also an experience that they're learning and living.
Right.
So I try to keep that perspective in mind whenever I'm being a dad to them. So,
yeah, that's been a tricky balancing act for me as a parent. That whole, the days are long, but the years are short adage. Because same deal. This is a phase, my kids are only under our roof and, all of that for, a relatively brief period of time. And I personally don't want to regret
right.
Any of that. And it's so easy to, it's so difficult to be intentional and be present all the time.
Right.
Because it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
I was making a mental list called, Welp, I Guess You'll Never. That was the title of the list. And I had that from my son, like, well, I guess you're never going to eat solids because, we struggled with that.
Right.
And I had written body training on. I was like, I guess you're just going to be in pull-ups for the rest of your life. But
they do make them in adult size.
Yeah, I mean, they do, So I can't wait till I'm there. No. No, yeah. I mean, these are things that, of course, you're crossing out on your list, or you may make that list in your head and it may be magnetized to you.
Sure.
But like you're saying, it's just a moment or just a phase in time, and every kid is different. They're gonna get it and everything. But yeah, I had made that list and was adamant, like this little guy is not gonna get it.
Right.
Got it. So yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, every kid. They have their own path.
That's right.
I think it was at a slight disadvantage. My oldest son, from the time he was born, looked exactly like me, which is unfortunate for him. I hope he's charming. He's a good-looking kid. Yes. He's pulling it off way better than I ever did. He's way less awkward than I am. But I would see his facial expressions, and I could just read his mind. I know based on this what you're thinking right now.
Right.
And it wasn't until he was a little older that it really kind of set in he's genuinely his own. I mean, he's a byproduct of me and my wife for sure, but he's his own person. He's got, wholly his own experiences and feelings and thoughts and concerns and hangups and, all the things come along with it. And I think once that sort of set in, it's easier to just approach the whole situation.
Right.
I still do dad, still like, still make the dumb jokes and check the thermostat, make sure nobody touched it, and get my New Balances out to mow the yard. I don't do that.
I commend all of the
Joe's got the New Balance.
New Balances, man. I commend all of like the single parent households and all of the folks that are just kind of pulling it together. The people that have twins and triplets.
Oh man, I know.
I commend y'all because I know how our house would be if it was just me. My wife is a huge help. Like not only just keeping me sane, but all that she does for our family and everything. And I look at all of those single parent households, or whether or not it's triplets, twins. Yeah. You guys are superheroes, man. Like I can't imagine. Like we are like, I remember leaving the hospital with our firstborn, and I was like, "Y'all not coming with us?" Like
that's it. Yeah, they just let you go.
It's been 3 days.
We're free. Like
car seat's all right. Okay, you got this. You got it. Yeah.
Like I don't know how we've made it.
Yeah.
And I almost feel bad for our firstborn because it's like, well, kind of you were the manual.
Yeah.
Like, so now I have,
because they genuinely do not give you one.
No, they don't. And I was ready to.
I think I brought it up in the last podcast that we did. Me and my wife have been saying the step from 1 kid to 2 kid is so much easier than no kid to 1 kid.
Oh yes,
because it's like I think I kind of got it. Yeah, I mean it's different, but like
at least you have the basic elements,
right? Yeah, but like you have the manual, right?
There's
You're like,
no light in that first kid's stairwell.
Oh,
like,
no,
there's at least a glimmer of light in the second stairwell
for sure.
But yeah, it was amazing that they just release you to your like,
here
you go, good luck,
you got it.
But yeah,
crazy.
Yep. So I think we're close-ish on time, probably.
Well, I've got a question.
Huh?
Oh yeah, shoot.
What?
Let him ask a little something.
Yeah, okay, yeah. What's your question?
Random questions.
Okay.
Sure. Though. You guys afraid of anything?
Oh gosh.
Afraid of anything?
Anything. I mean, it can be anything. Brittany included. 7.
So, 7. I'll share mine with you because this was a relatively recent revelation. My oldest son and I are reading Harry Potter, and we're in the second book, and they introduced Dementors, right? Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at Brittany because she knows. 3. Sorry, it's book 3. Dementors, and they feed on fears. And so Benjamin and my oldest in conversation point blank asked me, "What's your biggest fear?" And I wasn't ready for that.
Wow.
And I haven't thought about it. And it took me back to a moment when I was probably 17 or 18. And my best friend's mom, not Kenny, one of my other best friends, my best friend's mom, like I said, we were 17, 18 in that age range. This guy and I were. She had just had another child. So she had 2 older boys, the youngest of which was 18. And then she had a third child. And we were visiting with her, and she asked us that. And we both said, 18 years old, dumber than a box of bricks, snakes, right? As an 18-year-old,
right.
My biggest fear was snakes, poisonous snakes.
Okay.
And so Benjamin asked me, and it took me back to that moment. And then it dawned on me that it's not snakes anymore. And I never considered that. Still don't like them. Still, not a fan of snakes, but certainly not my biggest fear. My biggest fear now is letting down my children as a parent, not giving them the tools to be fine, upstanding adults. Right. And I guess it's kind of always been there since they were babies, but that's my fear.
Man, that's heavy.
That's a way better answer than
I'd say. Yeah. No,
well, I never would have thought of it if, my son
oh gosh, taxes.
That's a great answer.
I feel like I'm messing it up every single time.
You got two kids in a house, man.
I know, but I come from like a small business, like, and having to do that freaked me out every single time I had to do it.
Yeah.
Anyways, but no, my deeper answer.
You didn't have to be deep.
No, I got a deep answer. For me, is not doing enough. Just simply not doing enough. I feel like I'm a workaholic when I leave here. If I'm not doing more city stuff, I'm doing stuff for like my artwork and all that kind of stuff. And so it's really hard for me to turn it off. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like when I hit that last day, I'm like, man, did I do enough? Like that just sits with me all the time. So
I don't have a deep answer.
What is your fear?
The ocean.
Wow.
Generally speaking?
Yes.
Why?
I don't understand why people are so cool with the ocean.
Because
I think about this now with kids, because I go back and watch all my childhood videos where my parents would just like let me swim in Galveston. Mm-hmm. I'm like, y'all are crazy.
Yes.
Now I like when I have my
Joe's
kids,
parents
I'm like,
are not crazy.
No, they're not. They're great.
But
they're great parents.
The ocean is a scary place.
Yeah.
Like, and first of all, does anybody know how deep it is?
Deep. Thousands of feet.
So
right.
This is a deep answer.
This is a deep answer. Ooh,
literally.
There it is.
Gotta squeeze the dad joke in there.
Right. I like it.
For real, that's your...
Yes. If you... Look.
Would you ever go on a cruise?
Yeah, for sure. Here's the thing. I'm not afraid to be on the water. Uh-huh. But like, if you were just dropped in and you're like looking around, you don't see land and you're in the ocean.
Yeah,
what's underneath you?
Sharks.
Yeah. I mean, that may be the least of your worries.
That's
you
true.
know, Shamu is like mean.
What?
He's a killer whale.
But no, killer whales kill.
Killer whales
sharks.
Are very intelligent and they will just mess with you if they want to.
This is the stuff
so are
that
you afraid of the ocean or killer whales?
I'm afraid of everything
that
in the ocean.
The ocean. Yeah.
Like when, of course, you know, I love the Lord and if loving the Lord is wrong, I don't want to be right. Hey, come on. When the flood happened, it was like, oh, cool, more house. You know, like the stuff that was there before is probably still there. And they're always discovering new things. So I'm like, God is probably just dropping new stuff in there. Like, oh, here's something else.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy. I think about the ocean probably too much than I should.
You did bring this up in that phone call.
Yes. Like the ocean is a scary place. Now, in the same vein, like space, I fools with space for like the exact same reasons. Like it's just a curious thing and it's so big and vast. But I don't know. It's just that's just been my my thing. My secondary question, and I've been asking this to all parks people, and to me, it's a very simple question that I feel like majority of people are getting wrong. Okay. And you that are listening right now, I want you to answer this as well. Okay. On your own. If you're trapped in a mall for 24 hours, you have to survive in this mall for 24 hours. Okay. You can do whatever you want. You just can't leave.
Okay.
You have to choose to be in there with one thing. One of these two things. Okay. That I'm about to name. Either A gorilla.
I've heard this. Or
B, 7 black mambas.
Yeah.
Which
gorilla.
one is it going to be? Go ahead.
Gorilla.
100%.
Joe. I think the black mambas.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, in
Brittany,
size comparison.
Brittany, what are you Googling like the deadliness of a black
Google a black mamba. First of all, R.I.P.
Like
Kobe Bryant.
Dangerous.
Who? Kobe Bean Bryant.
Oh,
R.I.P. Because his nickname, Black Mamba. Yeah, Black Mamba is the
most dangerous,
the most venomous. I had to say that word slow.
Yeah, venomous
snake,
kills
or just anything. It's just the most.
But you're talking about a whole mall. I can get away from a snake.
You could probably get away. No, here's my, and I think I heard this somewhere.
Okay.
My plan would be to run from the gorilla until I could train it to be my friend.
Joe.
You only have 24 hours.
I don't 7 snakes? You don't know where they're hiding. How are you gonna put yourself somewhere? Although Joe's an Eagle Scout, he'd probably figure out
I'd
like a
figure
tree
something
fort or
out,
something.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say which one I feel
Why?
that I would do. That's
Why?
the art of a good storyteller.
Oh,
You always
man.
leave them wanting more.
Well, thanks for coming to our podcast.
What's your
No.
Okay.
There it is. There
Brittany's
it
not
is.
saying either.
We gave him everything.
No.
That's it. Might as
She
well.
got
This is the
all the
last
shout-outs.
episode. That's it.
Yeah.
We have nothing
like it.
else to talk about.
Next time
Until
it's the
season 2.
it's
Yeah,
the
that's
puppies of Pearland. We're gonna move to dogs now. We're just gonna have dogs on the show.
Like it.
No,
Snoop
we
Dogg.
do like to close all these out with our question.
Okay.
So we talk about this a lot too. But what is your why? Like, why do you get up every day and why? What do
The
you
mortgage.
Huh?
I'm just, no, I'm
She's taking your mortgage. I got kids to feed.
I got kids, man. No,
That's an answer. I mean,
That's
that's
good.
That's
Yeah.
paychecks are good.
I truly, and you can ask anybody in parks. I truly like to create an experience. It's something that kept me going with the later nights and the early mornings in special events. And it's something that I have brought over to this new role. It's creating an experience for someone. And that can be something of a grand scale
Mhm.
or something that is just, man, they took time to think about me.
Yeah.
Or this person took time to address the issue that I felt like was the dire emergency. I really needed to do squats and the machine is broken. But I truly enjoy and get passion and energy from being able to create that experience for someone. So being able to do that, I'm not one who needs recognition. Again, I like being behind the scenes and I like just doing it and knowing that it is done well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But being able to create that experience and deliver that for somebody, even if it's just one person, I feel very accomplished. So that's my why.
Would you say you're the Walt Disney of Pearland? Like,
I wouldn't say Walt. Walt creates a really good experience. I'm just trying to be me. You know, that's
That was
it.
good.
that's
That was good.
Walt
That's
is
good.
Walt is good,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to be me.
Well, this was awesome. This is our longest episode yet, and it didn't feel like it.
Let's
no,
go.
no,
Let's
yeah.
go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was the whole
that's,
intention, right? Just
right,
let them
right.
be as they are. So
Truly,
this
let's go
is-
to work. I
this
got a
was
meeting
awesome.
at 3.
Yeah, I think we
we got-
didn't
I'm
get
just
to
playing.
the
I'm just
west
playing.
side. But
Yeah. We got to go to the all-inclusive playground and
That's right.
check it out.
Nice.
So no, but thank you for taking the time. We, things like this I think are important so that everybody can kind of see there's more to it.
Yeah.
There's more to a special events than just pushing buttons for a firework. There's
That's
more
it.
to a rec membership than just keeping the machines clean.
Yeah.
So thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here. Any more shout outs for Brittany?
I think we hit the 7.
You hit 7.
Yeah, we're good.
Make it to 10. I don't know if we can do
No,
3.
No,
we're past 7.
We got to go.
All right, see you later.
Awesome.
bye.
Thanks.